Hello and welcome to the DFS_PhD show for today, the 11th of October. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, somebody's got to win that money. And hey, I did get it Sims. It was supposed to be a spike day for NHL. So, in fact, we're not showing screenshots. We didn't lose all our money, but we did get back full ticket value as expected. We had to pay the rake. Have a few $100 though hanging out. That's the satellite strategy. End of the day coming up here in a couple weeks. For the UFC. We'll have double digits for that. And then two more $15 fantasy footballs, which I guess is Monday or something. So it's a while until I get to cash that in, maybe Sunday. I got a 20 though, so I'll be in tomorrow. I think I have a few of those now. But regardless, I'm going to do a few of those tomorrow because there's $1 million on a Thursday. I thought these would be petering out with basketball season coming, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. Yes, and again, I was reading about some research for something I can't quite talk about yet, but 15% of frequent gamblers may be problem gamblers. So just wanted to say, I probably should say more often than at least 15% of the time. 1-800-GAMBLER is the number for problem gambling. This is, I'm helping you try to improve your process. So presumably there's some amount of selectivity that if you're here trying to improve your process, you have, are not a problem gambler, but, double check if you have long-term negative ROI, keep making the same mistakes. You may want to double check. Also, that can be kind of correlated with early Parkinson's symptoms. So it's not just for your own good. It's for your own good. Again, okay. Today for the actual baseball slate, there's 4 of them I'm going to talk about real fast because there's not much to say for any of them. You guys know the whole situation for all of these games. But the main thing is we do have some weather. Houston and Minnesota has some pretty significant incoming weather, and I guess I should double check MLB weather. Oh, come on. And well, what's my weather guy? Weather. Oh, come on. Do I not have this website bookmarked anymore? Oh, whatever. So anyway, make sure the game's happening in Minnesota is what I was going to do for you. But assuming that it is, and we've talked about it all day, it's just a little bit, it doesn't even look like it's raining. The wind's blowing in and it's kind of cooler than usual. So we have a significant nerf. I think I nerfed it 15% because I care more about the negative 30% home runs than the negative 11% runs. So that's my main change for the day. Everywhere that I have that game, I have put in the team stack Houston and Minnesota and made them 15% lower. And nonetheless, it says, please, please, please jam in these Houston stacks, to which I say, no, thank you. I will not jam in these Houston stacks. This is me. What I do is I restrict my player pool and I run the sims because it takes like a few minutes to run the sims each. And then I come back and do this live on air. So just so you know what the process is on the back end. I should show you, I think there's one more guy in the pool who we're not getting to because of the sims. Yeah, Aaron Nola's fine with me as well. I'm not going to be 100% Urquidy. I'm not going to be 100% anybody. I am MMing all of these slates. That's why I'm talking about it. They've done a decent job of making them all interesting. There's at least $1,000 up top, a decent buy-in for my purposes. So settings, I'm leaving up to $2,000 on the table, but still requiring strict stacking. And with 3 games, you can definitely make sure you can turn back on your lineup rule about not using a batter against an opposing pitcher because you have 2 pitchers, but yeah, you have enough other teams to choose from that I think you can still get a good selection. Because you only knock out 2 teams and then you can have the remaining 4 teams to choose from. Yeah. Okay. So making sure that math checked out. So Urquidy, obviously I'm not going to be 100% Urquidy. I'm max 50% Urquidy. Max 50% Lance Lynn. Jesus. Whew. My heart is 100% Lance Lynn. I'm a Dodgers fan. Today's going to be the saddest day of the season, but also one that we've seen coming for quite a while with the number of mistakes and missteps and just terrible, we've chosen some bad guys. So, can't blame anybody but yourself when a number of your pitchers are in jail or other kinds of things. Although, we've all seen the Trevor Bauer thing. That sucks. That's like a lose-lose situation for everybody. I'm not going to pretend like, we need to change laws or whatever. It's just, there's bad actors everywhere. Okay, so, Dodger stacks. It's where I got to be today. Pfaadt sucks. Everybody knows Pfaadt sucks. If we can't put up points against Pfaadt, we don't deserve to be here. Everybody knows it, even in Arizona. So, totally fine with that play. Besides that, Nola, Ryan, Urquidy, Lynn, don't see a difference. Toss a coin. I'm going to play all of them a bunch. I hope a couple of them get there. I have Burf. Obviously, I'm more on Urquidy than most people probably, so that's maybe the leverage play of the day for me. I assume when I look over here at my leverages, that's the highest. Yeah, him and Nola, which went from 0 to highest leverage, so who knows what the projections are here. Yeah, it's really coin flipping season. I'm going to flip 11 of them today on the main slate. And then so I don't have anything more to say. Then on so I got my captains to tell you for each individual showdown slate and the settings. So the settings are basically the same. I'm doing 48,000 to 49.5 because all those other ones are too high duped. But I am going to, because this is still kind of close salary range, I'm going to insist on a geometric mean filter as well, less than 3 dupes. So what I mean is my ownership geometric mean no more than 28.6. You can go and double check it later if you want to. The formulas and stuff are available on the internet for geometric means. But basically, you're just making sure you don't have too much chalk in your lineup so that the average lineup is close to unique. Because in all of these lineups, in all of these showdowns, basically just the top prize is $1,000, and that's where I want to be today. I'm not MMEing these little showdowns to try to win $100 or whatever. I'm trying to win the top prize, and I'm trying to win it not duped. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to play for the first game. We have Bryce Elder, and he is going to be underowned at captain because people recognize that Aaron Nola is better than him. We all know it. Presumably, like, he's going to be on a shorter leash. They're going to it's going to be a bullpen game as planned, and if he does well, maybe he gets stretched out. So you can go there. You can go Nola and try to get different with like a reliever or something. But besides that, the people who are, home run leverage, Ronald Acuna somehow, Trey Turner, Matt Olson, and Ozuna. Ozuna's ownership is nuts, presumably because he's madly overpriced for his recent production, but that's exactly the guy you want to captain because that's the guy who could have 2 home runs in a game. Ozuna is that kind of guy. And the other pitcher is one who just, Aaron Nola. He's throwing him in fast, and when you throw him in fast, they can come out fast. My other move for showdowns is I limit it to likely relievers. So I probably need to go through for each of these bullpens and make sure none of these pitch. Well, it's the playoffs too. So, sometimes pitchers pitch 3 days in a row in the playoffs. So I can't do my usual preening technique down here at the bottom. Doesn't look like I'm getting anybody besides Raisel Iglesias, who we all know is possible to play anyway. So, yep. Strom, Jimenez, Brad Hand, Yates. These are all great ways to get different under 10% owned. Great ways to get yourself to where you need to be with your geometric mean of ownership, because we all know those the batters that have that price tag are terrible, real bad. Like, probably don't get a hit, maybe get a walk. So if your reliever gets in the game, like last night with my Aroldis Chapman play, you get some amazing leverage. I don't think I said that on the stream now, I'm thinking about it, but he was in the pool, obviously. All right, for the next game, I'm going chronologically. That was the first game, which was Atlanta, Philly. This is the Houston, Minnesota game. Also, welcome to the show. You should like, subscribe, etc. We do have a hater now, so please help me with the overwhelming hater with a few likes. Also, apparently setting a target for likes is something I should do. So since we get we'll get about 50, viewers of this show on an average day like today by the end. So let's try to get 5 or 10 likes, 10% of you guys. Okay, so I don't know if that works, but we'll find out. All right, so guys, for the second slate that we're going to captain, it looks like mostly Joe Ryan, but obviously not 100% Joe Ryan. I just don't feel that way about Joe Ryan. I definitely don't feel that way about Urquidy. So we'll get to Altuve. I'm fine with Urquidy, but let's get another guy. It's going to be Bregman or Alvarez. These are the guys who are madly just underowned. I don't know what's going on with Bregman. I mean, I think that was accurate too. It was 2% today. So maybe it'll be 2% tonight. I don't think 1% is accurate. But for some reason, these guys, presumably they're pricey or something, so they're not a good value. But regardless, that's the guys to put in captain. They could have the best nights, and we all know it. Same deal with likely relievers. Let's see if we're getting to any of them right off the bat. Yep, we're getting to some Stewart, we're getting to some Jacks. These are guys who get a chance at going multiple innings if the starter gets shelled. So probably I should, it's the playoffs, so it's not just if the starter gets shelled. During the regular season, maybe you build a rule that says if no starter, then one of these long relievers. But don't need to do that in the playoffs because in any circumstance, a guy could be asked to do 2 innings. If not, in a terrible circumstance. All right, don't need to talk about injuries on the stream, but they happen 5-10% of the time. Okay, so injuries are reality. You got to plan for it. Something like 5% of the time, a backup QB is optimal in Showdown. So 5%. Is that the percent owned a backup QB is in Showdown? No. Anyway, things that we might talk about on the stream for the next Showdown. Okay, looks like I cannot figure out who to captain for this last game. Right, okay. So this last game with the Dodgers in Arizona, I can't figure out who to captain. If you have a lean, go with that. But Pfaadt is obviously underowned. Whenever you get a pitcher in the captain at less than 10% ownership, you jam him. There's just no, that's the rule. You jam him. What are the Arizona implied odds tonight? High, like Arizona Dodgers odds. Yeah, Arizona plus, so we're 2-1 favorites, Arizona 1.6-1 dogs. So 1 in 3 at least odds to win. So is that what we got when we were imputing? No. 1 in 3? No, we're at 3%. Should be 33%. You know, honestly, 1 in 3. Okay, I'll say 30 because there's a slight chance that they win and Pfaadt gets shelled early or something. So slivering out that 3 to 5% chance that they do win in a 10-9 game in the playoffs. I like the way that this is lining up now. So a lot of JD Martinez, captain, homer for us last night, 2 nights ago, whenever it was, and he's still overpriced and he's still hitting home runs. So underowned, overpriced, those are our guys. Tommy Pham looked good yesterday. If you want to get Tommy Pham in there, that's fine. Fine with me too. I just had, oh, right, I'm running 20 lineups on this night slate. That's why I was like, why do I have so many captains? I just want to make sure I'm sampling a big space. So I did 2,000 in the lineup pool for the other ones, and I'm doing 5,000 in the lineup pool for this one. Did I do the same range? I got to fix this range. I made it wider because I'm doing 5,000, but that's a bit too wide. Yeah. So only about $2,000 in your salary range because you're trying to find the optimal range, right? Like it's like Price is Right. And so given like an imaginary idea that you're sampling the range evenly, you want to have the most dense sampling in the most likely place to win. Thus, the importance of salary range as a consideration. That's way too nerdy. All right, I'll try to get it back to reasonable points for a sports show. I can do my nerd show somewhere else. I do my nerd show somewhere else. Eventually, I'll plug my nerd shows. Okay. Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, yeah. Right. Speaking of, I got to say this up at the top. I am also looking for somebody who's good at designing not pop-ups, but like games on your phone. So I'm trying to make an overlay for something that like, Underdog or DraftKings could pop up a card game. And for reasons that longtime viewers of the show can probably understand, but please don't steal my idea for this. But yeah, do get in touch, send me a YouTube message or whatever if you are capable of coding a card game. Currently, I'm trying to acquire one from a European, which is a bit hard, and then I will have to adapt it to America. So you know what I mean? Like I will have to figure out how to make their 2014 program working now. But that's the future of gambling. Right, so more than 2 projections for, wow, really spiraling here at the end. Ginkel, Ferguson, and Mantiply are the other people for the last game who are on my like weird dudes to play list. Ginkel's kind of like, I guess, fallen out of favor. I thought he was closer to closer, but I think he came in the 7th or 8th. Maybe they were winning, and that's why he came in the 8th because we would have gotten an at-bat. It was home. Whatever. I can't. I think he's still in the pool. When it's a reliever, though, double check, use your brain, see if he's said he is shut down by the manager. That doesn't happen in the playoffs, though, right? Guys are available every day in the playoffs, no matter what they did during the regular season in general. All right. Well, regardless, that's an incredibly long video. Hope you enjoyed talking about all of these games. You know what to do. It's the same plan every showdown, and these are kind of fun slates now. So I'm enjoying it and trying to remember that in every single sport, my biggest wins are always in the playoffs because there are all these weird situations where everybody's just jamming starters, and that's least good in the playoffs. If you want to play a guy off the bench, do it. Play a guy off the bench for sure. Does not have to be a starter. Does not have to be a starter. That's something where maybe I need to change some of these projections. Yeah, because guys who don't start are going to get at-bats in the playoffs, man. That's the whole point. Why are they on the team? They're on the team to pitch hit. You come in as soon as the other pitcher comes. Like when the pitcher comes in that's bad for that 7, 8, 9 hitter, gone. Like you can look at any game log probably. I don't know specifically. I have the Dodgers Arizona game up. I'm not sure that this applies here the best. Probably better in other games today because the Dodgers and Arizona are both kind of likely to shell the starting pitcher. But in a game where the relievers are going to maybe play an important part of the showdown, so might the backup batters, right? And they're getting, I mean, when I think about it, that's nuts. Are these guys who are on the roster projected for full zeros? Yeah, because every person here is projected to either be in the order or as a relief pitcher. Well, guys, we've got something to do for the future because you gotta project the guys who are on the bench to get hits. This is nuts, right? I mean, we've got unique 1 through 9. Okay, something's a little weird here. I got to ask in the SaberSim chat if we're really projecting every backup batter not to play in the playoffs, because that's wrong. But we're going to end it here with, remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money, and that might as well be us.